Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to SFT's first official video. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. I know we've posted a lot of videos online and we've interacted with you guys on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but we're actually officially launching our YouTube channel today. So we're going to introduce ourselves, talk a little bit about what we do and why we do what we do. So I know a lot of times people will say, oh, why do you need a gun? Why do you need this and that? And our industry is actually very political, so today we're going to help combat that a little bit and help those people who are on the fence and the people who are quote-unquote anti-gun. So a little bit about myself. I'm Pierre. I'm the founder and CEO of Solomon Firearms Training and Overwatch Security. We run the NRA courses where you get your license to carry and your FID card. We also do instructor courses where you become an instructor. We teach hand-to-hand combat training, which is why you see all the mats back there. We do pepper spray as well, and we do baton and handcuffing and all that cool stuff. So if you ever want to get sprayed or kick my butt on the mats, you can come and beat me up on Facebook Live and make me break my ribs. So yeah. So that's us. About my background, prior military, security contractor for the Department of Homeland Security. I've done armed security for a while. Prior to that, I did unarmed before I was 21. Worked as an EMT, and today we're going to talk about why we do what we do. So before we get into a lot of product reviews and training, so we actually plan to have a very diverse YouTube channel, cover a lot of different things. When you go on our YouTube channel, you're going to look on playlist, and then per playlist you're going to go ahead and pick the videos that you want to watch. But before we get into all that and we start launching all official videos where they got all the cool exploding things in the beginning and all that stuff, I still don't know how to do that, but we'll figure it out. So why do we do what we do, right? Why do we train? Why do you need a gun? Why do you need to defend yourself and take classes? Why not just call the police, right? Why do you need to defend yourself in general? So we're not even going to start with a firearm. Why do you need to defend yourself? Well, in real life, right, so this is life. In this video, see me, awesome. So regardless of how you feel in your political affiliation, there are threats out there, right? So there are actual threats. So why do you need to defend yourself? And please, don't make fun of my handwriting. So regardless of what you believe about guns, there are actual threats, right? So there are real life threats out there. So you have, okay, what kind of threats? You have robbery, right? You have robbery, you have rape, you have murder. You got robbery, rape, murder, your standard A and B, right? You got A and B. You got your crazy, you got your crazy X, right? Male, female, they come in all shapes and sizes and genders. So you got your crazy X, you got your carjacking. You got your carjacking, you got your standard B and E. So breaking and entering, if you guys are not familiar with that, or maybe home evasion would be a more easier term, layman's term for you. Home evasion. Ooh, this is testing my spelling out right here, right? You gotta be able to spell. So you got your home evasion, you got your lone shooters, right? The lone wolf. You got your terrorist. Terrorist. You got your well, it kind of covers robbery, but you got your local store robbery. So I like to clarify store robbery versus like if someone's trying to rob you for your wallet or anything like that. So these are all real life threats that we can all agree that they exist out there. So these are all things that exist, and these are all things that happen to people every day in their life. Every day in America, people are victimized. Every day around the globe, people are victimized. There are hundreds and thousands of people every year that are victimized by these violent crimes. So we can all agree that these threats exist right here, right? Regardless of your political affiliation. So what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? First bright idea, you gotta say, hey, call your local law enforcement, right? So you got your local law enforcement right here. They're going to come and they're going to catch the bad guy. So these are the big guys right here. Our men in blue who protect our community. But obviously this is not enough, right? So obviously law enforcement is not enough because these things are still happening. So if law enforcement was a good enough solution, then these problems wouldn't exist. Now I'm not gonna sit here and get a bunch of data, a bunch of facts and things. Those are things that you can research on your own. And I actually recommend that you go and research it on your own because it makes you more involved and it makes you more informed in the position that you take. You can go to your local website, so whatever town that you're in, if you go on your PD website, like for you guys in Mass, you can do mass.gov or boston.gov, wherever your city is, you can go and you can look up the stats of the crimes. You also have the FBI uniform crime reports and all these different federal agencies that are going to give you reports on all types of things. Ooh, stabbings. I forgot about stabbings. Ooh, let's not forget about that. So yeah, so there are all these reports that will tell you how many people get raped, murdered, all these things that happen to them. So if law enforcement was enough to stop these, then we wouldn't have these problems, right? We wouldn't have people getting hurt. How many times have you seen in a news story where something terrible happened? Ooh, kidnapping, there we go. You always hear about kidnapping, right? So we'll add that to our category. I can't spell kidnapping. The age of technology where Word actually does autocorrect for you and you don't actually have to think anymore. So we have all these threats up here, and if your plan is law enforcement, waiting for law enforcement to come and save you and rescue you, then clearly that's not a sufficient plan, right? Because all these things happen to people every day. People like you and me who wake up, they think they're gonna go to work, they're coming from work, they're walking to their car, they think it's a everyday, just another day at work, just another day, living their life. And then something terrible happens to them, right? So we always have this idea that these bad things are not gonna happen to us, they're gonna happen to other people. Because somehow we're not deserving of bad things. But somehow, if someone is going to get raped and murdered or robbed, it shouldn't be me because I'm a really good person. But it can happen to somebody else, right? It's okay. It's going to happen to somebody else, but it's not going to happen to me. The reality is that it can happen to you. It probably has happened to you for people that are watching the videos. One of these things have probably happened to you, or someone who those things have happened to. So the reality is these things do happen. And law enforcement, while they do a great job in protecting our community, it's not enough because people are victimized every day. So you'll say, oh, why isn't law enforcement enough? Because they're a reactionary force, right? They're reactionary. So I'm going to break this Barney style to you, right? All right. So what happens? You're walking down the street, and then a guy points out a knife, and he says, hey, give me your wallet. So you get robbed. Right? Hey, give me your wallet. There you go. You give him the wallet, and then he runs away. You call 911, and then you report the crime. So it's reactionary. So basically, what happened is crime happens. The crime happens. Then you report the crime. Law enforcement arrives, and oftentimes the bad guy is gone. Right? Bad guy is gone. So this is what happens. If you're lucky, the guy comes, he takes your money, he breaks inside your home, he steals your TV or whatever, and then you don't get injured whatsoever, right? This would be the ideal scenario if you get victimized, right? You lose property, anything happens, but you're fine, right? You're not hurt, you're not in a hospital, you're not anything like that. But the problem with that is that you're a victim. So, can you see right here? Yeah. The problem with that is you're still a victim. So, we're going to bubble this right here. Calling law enforcement, right? Calling law enforcement does not stop you from becoming a victim. All it does is that you hope that the guy catches, that law enforcement catches the guy, right? You say, hey, I'm going to go ahead, give my report, do whatever I do, and then, hopefully they catch the bad guy. Hopefully there's cameras around or something like that. But at the end of the day, you're going to be a victim. This right here is going to be a victim. So what is your plan? So what is your plan to stop these things from happening to you? So if you don't have a plan to stop these things from happening to you, then you're gonna be a victim, right? You're gonna be a victim. Let me go ahead and grab the red marker. So for all you people that say, why do I need a gun? Why do I need to take a class? Why do I need to do all this? It's to prevent yourself from becoming this right here, a victim. So whether you want to use pepper spray, whether you want to take up martial arts, whether you want to, train with a firearm, you got to have a plan so that you don't end up a victim, so that you don't end up on the news and people are, watching the news like, oh my God, that's terrible, we live in a nice neighborhood, what could have happened, I can't believe this happened, the guy looked like a nice guy. We hear these stories over and over and over again, but for some reason it never clicks into our mind that this could happen to me, this could happen to my family, this could happen to my friends. So these are all the threats that are out there, and I mean, we can list on and on and on. I'm sure you guys will have endless more things to add on that. So the reason why we do firearms training, why we do hand-to-hand combat, why we do pepper spray training, is to stop people from becoming victims. Once you take your security into your hands, then you can better protect yourself and your family, so you can minimize the victimization, so that by the time law enforcement arrives, they can go and they can help you out. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wipe this board off. We have these threats, so let's make a plan. So law enforcement is gonna be part of our plan, but we wanna make a plan. So what is a plan? So the first step to planning is preparation, right? So you want to prep. You want to prep for your plan. When you start prepping for your plan, it's going to force you to seek education, right? You need to get education, right? So whether you go online, whether you get to Google education, you go to Google and then you start looking at the things that you need to do. Then from that, from where you get from your education, you're going to conduct training. When you conduct training, well, I should have just put training. I just messed up on that. Let me go back. We're going to come back right here. We're going to conduct training. So you're going to become a first responder. We're just going to do it first R. Because you are the first responder. When law enforcement comes, they're actually the second responder, because you have to be able to defend yourself. So you got to create a plan, right? If I get attacked, what preparation have I made to protect myself from being a victim? If you haven't made any preparations to prevent that from happening, then you're going to be a victim. Okay, well, I don't know what kind of preparation I need to make. Google, start doing some education. How can I defend myself? So once you start getting the tools, right, the education, they're going to direct you into where you need to go. Then it's going to say, hey, take a martial arts class, take a firearm training class, take, pepper spray, do something. And then that's going to lead to training. You're going to conduct training, and then training is a lifetime pursuit, right? It's not just a one-time you're done. You're going to continuously conduct training, and afterwards you're going to go and become a first responder once you're able to proficiently and adequately defend yourself and your family. So yeah, that's pretty much what we have at this point for our first video. So the whole point I'm telling you is to have a plan. If you don't have a plan to defend yourself, then you're only going to be a victim. So that's what we help people with. We help people figure out a plan. So what the plan consists of. So everybody's plan can be different. Everybody's plan can be different, right? So you might say, hey, I don't believe in violence. I'm a pacifist. My plan is to run. So my plan is to run. There is a proper way to run, right? There is a proper way to run. Running includes cover and concealment. Cover and concealment. You gotta know when to move, when to hide, what kind of things are gonna protect you. If you have an active shooter and they're shooting up the mall, you don't just run down the hallway like crazy. You try to hide behind things. You try to bound and do things like that. Those are things we'll discuss later on. But yeah, so if you want to run, if you want to hide, hiding goes into the same thing, right? If you want to hide, you don't want to hide behind. If a guy's shooting somewhere, right, you don't want to hide behind a curtain. If a guy's going around stabbing people, you know, you want to go and get in a room, barricade the door, you know, block yourself in. You know, so if your plan goes running, hiding, and then you have the step right here, which is fight. Right, so you got fight. So how are you gonna fight? Right, you can spray. Right, you can shoot. You got MMA, where martial arts or whatever you want to do. Something is better than nothing. I know people always argue, oh, which one is better for you? But anything is better than nothing. So even if your plan consists of any of these things right here, you gotta have the training. You gotta have the proper mental preparation, the physical preparation, and you have to be ready. It can't be your first time. It can't be your first time when you're fighting someone that you're experiencing someone trying to take your life. If the first time you experience someone trying to choke you or beat you up, and that's the time when you're fighting with a bad guy and you're figuring out how that feels, then it's probably not going to end well for you. So why do you need a gun? Why do you need to train? Why do you need pepper spray? It's so that you don't become a victim. So that's why we train, and that's why we're going to post all these different videos and stuff, is so that you do not become a victim. Take your own security in your own hands. Protect yourself, protect your family, because anybody else is going to come afterwards. So at the end of the day, you either have the ability to protect the ones that you love or you don't. You're going to end up like one of these people that we see on the news all the time. Good people where bad things happen to them, and unfortunately, that's the way life works. So